Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 8 of the Pace Pals podcast. I have my guest here, Smaugy.
Hello, everyone. How's it going?
Hello, hello. And one, I would like to say thank you for coming onto the podcast. It is a pleasure to have you.
Yo, no problem. Glad to be here.
All right.
Oh, it's gonna be a good talk. I feel it.
Yeah. So, I want to kind of get into your background of speedrunning. Like how did
Right.
you start? Who inspired you? Like what was your journey to learning to become a speedrunner?
Definitely around 2015, the summer 2015. I saw some speedruns of uh, Cosmo Wright, and he was doing speedruns of any percent Ocarina of Time. When he got it, I think the world record at the time was 18:10. Yeah, 18 minutes and 10 seconds. And that was really insane to just watch. But I didn't really like the way um, that speedrun is panning out because it's so much breaking the game. And I was like, I don't think I want to do that, maybe. And then as I got more interested in it, just a few weeks later, um, I stumbled upon Games Done Quick. It was streaming for that summer 2015, and I just happened to take a look at the schedule of the game, and I was like, okay, let's try to find something that is not Ocarina of Time, and something else that might be easily accessible and for me to try out. And I saw Shovel Knight, and in the game's schedule, and I saw Mancha Koopas run it. He was doing, I think he was doing low percent during that event, and I downloaded the game and I just started learning stuff, and uh, yeah, that's where it started. It started with Shovel Knight,
Nice.
but it was original. I intended to start with Ocarina of Time first, but I didn't know if I liked speedrunning or not, so I decided to start another game. That's why I started Shovel Knight, because I wanted to see if it actually was something for me first before I completely dip into it.
And now for the people watching and for me as well, you want to explain like what Shovel Knight is about? Because I personally don't know the game.
Oh yeah, Shovel Knight is a 2D platformer that actually acts. Okay, this is kind of weird to say, but it's a 2D platformer, but it acts like a 3D game, or like sprites or some certain things in the game. It is 3D, but it acts like 2D. But you don't see the 3D part, of course. It's a 2D game.
Okay.
It has taken inspiration from old retro games such as DuckTales, Zelda, Mega Man, Castlevania. Uh, what else? Mario. Did I say DuckTales? I think it is.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Okay.
it has taken inspiration from those kinds of games and kind of like created a super mix of all those games combined.
Okay.
It's a really fun game, actually. It
Uh
has great music, great soundtrack.
And
It's a very fun game.
what is your time in that game?
I've been running every single category for Shovel of Hope, which is the first character, the original character, Shovel Knight. Um, I don't know exactly my times right now, but my PB in any percent is 41:52, 41 minutes 52 seconds,
Wow.
and I was the world record holder for most of the time since late 2015 until just a few months ago. Um, most of the time.
Was a new
But I
glitch
still
or something found or a new
no,
route?
no. There's a guy that has been running for a long time.
Ah,
He's
okay.
been running almost every week. In the 2 year period that I haven't been playing the game, and he
Gotcha.
managed to catch up with some more optimizations and more strats. So he finally caught up with my time because he was second place for a long time.
Mm, okay.
But for the rest of the categories, I still held the world record, which is low percent at 4603. New Game Plus, which is speed run. For those that are unfamiliar with the term New Game Plus is you start a new file after you beat the game. So you basically start a new file with everything that already exists in the game. It's like, oh, I'm already overpowered at the beginning of the level, and you just beat the game again normally.
Yeah.
And of course, the last category, the hardest one, also 100%. I still have record in those,
Nice, nice.
but
Do
not any
you
percent, not anymore.
do you think anyone or this runner you were talking about, do you think he would come for those titles or those records?
He has taken low percent from me one time before, but I know he hates that category, so I'm not sure if he wants to take that back again. New Game Plus, I doubt it. 100%, I doubt it. I've never heard or seen any interest in from most people actually. New Game Plus and 100% is the two categories that people don't run,
Okay.
but because of the complexity of them, 100% is really hard because enable to be able to get top 3 even, you need basically to have a deathless run because
Ah,
the route is the good, like the route is so, how do you say it? It's routed as optimized as possible with the gold that you need, and you
okay.
actually break all the checkpoints along the way in every level. So if you die at the end of of a level, you lose like 3 minutes
Jeez.
because the when you die, you lose a fifth of the gold that you currently have on you, but you can still pick it up again. The gold, they are like floating with wings, like gold bags. You
Mm-hmm.
can pick them up again, but you still
It's
start at the
still
beginning of the level, and depending on where you die, you can either pick them up again or you can't, because if you died falling down into the void, you can't pick up the bags again because they are floating over the void again. So it's like
that that reminds me of like Hollow Knight, like when you die and you have the ghost that is just sitting there and he kind of like floats and all that, and it's very
yeah,
hard to like
yeah,
get if it's in a
exactly,
certain,
the soul, exactly.
yeah.
I
Uh,
played Hollow Knight a little bit, but I've never speedrun it.
oh, I've
But I know what you mean.
I haven't seen, like I've seen a little bit of Hollow Knight speedruns, and the movement and the optimization that is just crazy to think.
Yeah,
And like
Hollow Knight is good.
yeah, I've never personally played it, but I have seen it in casual games, and the speedrun for it is just nuts. Um
Yeah,
and then you were saying that the 100% category is hard and all that, and that made me think
yeah.
of Ocarina of Time, max percent child, and like how you said like no one is
Oh
speedrunning
yeah,
that category, like
Max Percent
no
Child.
one's speedrunning max percent child either. Like
No,
that's the
it's been a
category
long
that
time.
only ZFG touches.
Yeah, that is actually true. I've seen two people run it, but I don't remember the other person. But I did see CFG ran Max Percent Child. That is actually true. The
I
thing is, like, if you look, the thing could be said for 100% Shovel Knight as well, because right now the latest run on the leaderboard, the latest run, the latest PB, I mean, is from 1 year ago
wow.
for 100%. And that was a very new runner. He only got top 6, which is an hour and 37 minutes. And but the run after that is me, and I haven't ran this category for 3 years at least.
Jeez.
So that tells you like why I don't know. I'm not really sure why people are not opting to do any percent or low percent only in Shovel Knight. I guess it's just not popular enough, so they don't want to stretch their boundaries too much. That could be
Yeah, I
why.
was either gonna say it's probably not
Just
popular or the difficulty is just too high.
yeah, I think like it's a very cool category. It's the
Hmm.
coolest category there is. But it might be just because of the difficulty. Like, oh, let's not do it, I guess.
And speaking of difficulty, Majora's Mask, we're dipping into Majora's Mask a little bit because you have
Mhm.
speedrunning. Um,
Yeah,
no, is it what is it? Is the it's the new it's the 114 run now? Is that any percent no major glitches? I think that's the category. Like
that I've been running.
no, that is like a hard category that just recently got beat as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, the human
But
protractor. Shoutouts to the
full
THP
yeah,
Thomas.
full on
He's my dude.
skipped this. He has been at the 116 flat
Yeah,
as his PB, and he full on
exactly.
skipped the
Yeah,
115. I remember
yeah,
when Pope finally reached 115, and that was crazy. And like
yeah,
Enop had that world record for years. I remember
yeah,
just Pope just grinding out runs after runs after runs, and
yeah, yeah,
then Pope got it, and then Enop came out back out of nowhere and got world record again, and then the human protractor. So
yeah,
shout outs to all of them. They are amazing MN
yeah. Really good
runners.
runners. I don't really know how long Pope was running it for because I can never watch him stream because most streamers for me they always stream when I'm asleep.
Yeah.
Uh, because I'm on a very normie schedule.
Gosh darn
Um,
time zones.
yeah, I know.
You
um, uh,
just got to cut
but
out a
I
you
know
just
that Anop came back and think he
yeah,
was
cuz he
running and practicing for 2 months before
yeah,
he got it back.
he was gone for a while because I think
Yeah, I
he
was gone for
retired.
years.
Yeah, he retired from streaming to I think focus on his family and job and all that.
Yeah,
And
he
then
needed stability, what's it called? Stable income.
yeah.
So he
Um
decided to just put speedrunning and streaming on the shelf and just focus on
yep, and then
family and job.
yeah,
That's it.
and then he picked it up and you know, like you said, couple months, 2 months or something and got record.
Yeah.
Like
Uh-huh.
I watched that video or that the speed run and that is just crazy.
Yeah.
I never thought it would hit 114. I'm
I
going to be surprised if it gets to 113.
I think it will actually. I'm pretty sure. I've seen crazier stuff happen, so I think it will. Because I know that the human protractor he's been able and capable of getting that record for months, for a
Yeah,
year almost now.
that's what I
But
heard.
he didn't have super a lot of time to grind every single day or at least 3-4 days a week.
Hmm.
And then he took a break also because he was starting a new company, I believe.
Okay.
So he had to put a lot of effort into that. But now that he's back, when it's settled down a little bit more,
Yeah.
now he got into it properly again,
Yeah,
and that's
I heard from Pope that talking Pope was talking about him and that he's going to get record like one of these days because
yeah, yeah, he
he
is.
has just been
I knew that as well.
been
It's just
grinding
it
and
was just a
grinding and
matter of
grinding.
time.
Yeah. And
It'd be
apparently
great.
was it was Enop when he came back found a new route or something as well cuz I
I don't
know
know. I haven't paid that much. I don't pay attention to the route in or tricks even
yeah.
in. It depends on what game it is and what category it is, but I usually don't pay attention too much uh, to a category that I'm not running.
Yeah.
Even if I have run it before, I usually don't pay attention to it because usually what I do is I focus on one category at a time, and I
Yeah.
put my entire focus on that.
Yeah,
And then
you don't want to over
Yeah, I don't want to
overwork it.
overburden
Yeah,
or overwork.
overburden or yeah,
Yeah, and I tend to focus on my stuff instead
yeah,
of others people's stuff,
yeah,
because it's just who I am. I
yeah.
want to, just grind everything, but on
Yeah,
my terms.
yeah, exactly.
I guess.
So let's focus on your category. What category did you run?
I ran a hundo, 100% glitchless.
Oh, glitchless.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, glitchless. That's because I've been mostly specializing in glitchless in the 3D Zelda games.
Okay.
In Ocarina of Time, I've been mostly only been running any percent glitchless. Uh, Back before category rule change. Now it's called all main quests glitchless and
Ah.
100% glitchless. Um, and when I finally got both of those big glitchless categories, a world record in them, I still have the record in them both. Hundo glitchless and AMQ all main quests. I decided I wanted to. I was already thinking about it for a long time that I would like to try out Majora's Mask. Um, but I hadn't really found the right time for it. But this time I knew, like, okay, when I have all main quests record, I'm going over to Majora's Mask for a bit. I don't know how long. I want to try it out and see how it feels because I've never speedrun Majora's Mask before. So yeah,
Now
spend some time on it.
it does feel different a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. The thing is, there are so many people that say to me, "Oh well, Majora's Mask is like a ROM hack for Ocarina of Time. It's the same." I'm like, yeah, maybe. And then when I start learning it myself, I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah,
It's
it is
it's a
very
lot.
different.
It's more different than people think.
Yeah.
Um, Also, the difference in having a ESS adapter banned for Majora's Mask,
Mm.
which I actually think personally is a good thing.
Yeah.
Um, Even though I would like to have a ESS adapter, I think it's a good thing that it's banned. Um,
For those who don't know what an ESS adapter is, can you like explain?
yeah, basically the short version is an ESS adapter changes the analog stick to feel like original console, as if you're playing on Wii VC and you have an ESS adapter, it feels like it changes the analog stick to feel like it's on original console, like on N64. So it's easier movement,
Okay.
easier to get certain angles, and the ESS dead zone, which is like if you just um, hold the stick slightly out of neutral, that's called the ESS position.
Okay.
And if you hold that position in either Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time, when you're using Link, or like controlling Link, um, he shuffles around, like he spins around, but he's not moving.
Yeah, he
So he's
just
like
pretty
shuffling
much
his feet,
yeah. You can and
basically.
it's either like what I've done is in randos is that in DC Dodongo's Cavern,
Yeah.
I learned to do how to open the head where you have to drop the bombs down. I learned
Hmm.
the trick from the right hand side from below, and with
Yeah.
that trick you have to use that ESS turn.
Yeah.
So it can be you have to be very precise. So
Yeah, it's
like
very precise.
if you go a little bit
Even
too
with ESS
much,
adapter, it can be tough sometimes if you're not used to it, even
yeah,
if you have the ESS adapter. And yeah, but that's why I think it's a good thing that it's banned for Majora's Mask, because I think if it was allowed, I think the speedrunning progression will go too fast.
yeah, I think so as
Um,
well.
and people will it will automatically open up to more risk-taking tricks to all categories except glitchless.
Yeah.
Um, to all the glitched categories, and it will just t- uh, before you know it, within 4 years or something, if or maybe less, or I am not a god. I can't predict the future, but it feels like it will just go too fast, and before you know it, like every glitched category is now really, really optimized, and it's really hard to get to the top.
Yeah.
Doesn't I mean, I think it's just me personally, but I think it's good that it's banned because it makes it more authentic and original.
Now, speaking
Um,
of
yep.
things like not it's not really technically banned, but it is intro skip. Like
Yeah,
obviously Ocarina of Time, the community, speedrunning community came to a vote that intro skipped is allowed. You just have to put the
yeah,
certain amount of time that the intro plays into your live split, and then once you control Link, you hit, the go and you start moving.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
do you
And the way
think
you do that, you just take a file slot to
no,
watch the intro, and then as soon as you get the links out, you just save the game, and then you just copy the game to the file slot number one,
no.
and that's
Do
how you do it.
you ever think that the Majora's Mask community will agree to intro skip? I know you control Link in the beginning, and some categories actually need you to control Link to get certain amount of rupees and all that. But do you think
Yeah,
on the
I
categories that don't need to do that, do you think intro skip will be allowed?
I think if interskip would be allowed for Majora's Mask, which I I mean for runners it's I mean it depends on person to person. Some people are gonna just say no. It's too cycle one um skip is just too much, and some people are just gonna be yeah that would be nice. Um but I think if it would be allowed, I think it would be a matter of I think it would be different rules for every category instead of
Mm-hmm.
just one rule for a category. So if, for example, if glitchless categories had a cycle one skip, you would start with bomb bag, you would start with Ocarina of Time, and you just just as normal. As the if you have I don't know how it works in any percent glitchless for Majora's Mask, but if you have bomb bag or if you buy bomb bag in cycle one, then yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So in because I used to speedrun any percent glitchless, and
mhm.
in cycle one you do to for more advanced stuff you would buy bomb bag in cycle one
Yeah, yeah.
because just the way the route is and all that because you pretty
Yeah,
much buy um you go talk to grandma to move the days, and then you go talk to the scarecrow in the shop to make it night 3, and then you go back to the inn or back to the east side to get the ferry, the stray ferry, and you will go
yeah,
into the inn at the top to get the 100 rupee chest, and then you make your way back to the bomb shop, buy the bomb
yeah. To
shop,
buy the
and
bag.
then you make your way to the tower at midnight. So
Yeah, yeah. It's the same for Hundo glitchless. Uh, uh, but you can skip the silver rupee chest in the inn at the top,
yes, there
and you
is.
can
I think
do
it's a
the lucky rupee route, which I don't
yeah,
recommend for anyone unless you are like because it's so annoying, especially if it's cycle one.
yeah. I
It's in cycle one, so it's
I
like
yeah I
I
preferred.
remember I tried it, and then after like 5, 6, 7 attempts, I'm like, why am I wasting time with this?
Mhm.
I can just go normally and lose that 10 seconds optimally, and I can waste time doing this later when I'm better at the category instead.
Yeah.
Like I don't
I
need those 10 seconds right now, so yeah.
I preferred grabbing the 100 rupees at the inn than
Yeah.
doing
Yeah,
the
it's a
rupee
lot more
route.
chill.
Yeah.
But you're losing 10 seconds
Yeah.
optimally.
But I'm on Project 64, so I can't even like
Yeah,
go for world record. So I'm okay with losing 10%,
yeah.
10 seconds. So, speaking, because we haven't gone to your main category yet. I kind of want to differ a little
Yeah.
bit. Have you thought about running any other Zelda speedrun or like Zelda games like Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, like even like
Twilight
the
Princess
older
has,
games as well?
yeah, Twilight Princess has never been like a Zelda game for me. I played it one time and I didn't even finish it.
Wow.
I think I got to Zelda in the tower. Well, it was a tower. I don't. It was like a courtyard or something. I don't even know. That's how long ago it was. I don't know anything about the game.
Okay.
Um, I played it one time, and I never really had any
It just
interest
it just didn't sit
in it.
right for you.
Yeah, exactly. But Wind Waker, I really enjoy playing, but I don't really enjoy watching it.
What about speedrunning it?
Um,
Do you think you
I
have an interest
have
in that?
done Bug Limit one time.
Bug limit.
Wind Waker, the soft, the SD version, which
Okay.
is basically 80% glitchless.
Ah, okay.
I only did 2 runs. Um, I decided not to do any more for 2 reasons. Actually, it was just 2 reasons. Um, Number one was um, there was no proper practice ROM for
Mm,
it, and it was really hard to the practice ROM that did exist or whatever it was, like the practice tool. I
mm-hmm.
didn't understand at all to use it. It was really hard to use it, and there was not really a guide or like that.
Like a YouTube video or
Yeah,
anything.
not really.
Okay.
And I tried to use it myself, and I managed to warp myself to a few places. But I'm like, this is too hard. So the game hasn't. That was like because I did it old school way. I
Mm-hmm.
saved the game and I played through a part, and then I reset the console and played through it again, and that's how I learned. And second reason was actually just a stream decision because no one that watched me at the time, they just watched me for Ocarina of Time or Shovel Knight, and as soon as I switched over to Wind Waker, like it's always like a 70% of your viewer base just beep, they just
Yeah.
disappear. So that was the second reason,
And
but I still enjoy playing it from time to time. I haven't touched it in a long time now.
okay.
I
What
was
about
jokingly saying that maybe I could do a couple of 100% glitchless runs in the
ooh,
future. They are like 8 hours long. It's a category for it now. It wasn't back then, but it is now. So maybe, but not now.
maybe in the
I
future?
have other, yeah, maybe in the future, but right now I have other plans that I'm already working on right now.
Okay. Um, not really speed running, but uh what about randomizers? Have you done like Wind Waker randomizers, Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time randos?
The only rando I've ever done is Ocarina of Time.
Oh wow.
I've
Okay.
done I don't know how many, but I've lost count, but at least 20.
Ocarina of Time
um,
randos are a lot of fun, and especially like there are so many different ways you can have like friends play with you as well. You have the online, which
yeah,
is you're in the same world. So you one person can be in a dungeon, and another person could be like in Hyrule Field, like getting
yeah,
checks and all that stuff. And then the other one is
yeah.
multi-world, and I recently got into multi-world, and
Hmm.
it is
Okay.
so much fun. It just also depends on the settings and the time you have, because the application that connects the worlds, for me personally, it doesn't work. Like if you close it and then reopen it, you can't
Hmm.
reconnect the world for some reason.
Right. Okay.
So you
Yeah.
have to do it in one sitting, or if someone says, "Hey, I'm done," then you call it from there. You read the spoiler log,
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
adjust the settings so it's not as difficult. But
Yeah.
it is a lot of fun.
Yeah. I remember the very first rando I did. It was glitchless logic, and it was not even me who did the settings.
Mm.
And I don't remember the settings perfectly, but it was just aids enough for me to get stuck. And I didn't, since I didn't have any experience with. Here's this is the same thing as I mentioned earlier. Like if I'm not running something, I don't focus on it.
Yeah.
So I didn't even think about like I didn't get Song of Time before I went adult, and I did dot skip, the Door of Time skip,
Hmm.
without having Song of Time, and I had no idea how to glitch back into. Um, I knew that I could, and when I become adult, I could just save the game and I could continue as adult.
Yeah.
But I was stuck in adult, like
You,
6.5 hours in, and I
uh,
couldn't get back to Master Sword to go back to child because I didn't know how to glitch back in as adult.
uh,
So I this is before I didn't have any knowledge of equip swap and what even the clip is. I do now.
mhm.
Um, so I'm like, you know what? I'll restart this seed. I'll do it tomorrow. And then the next day, it took me another 7 hours to complete it or something. So it was like a
Jeez.
total 14 hours. I'm like, this is horrible.
See,
This is a nightmare.
that's why I those settings I put those on baby settings. Like forest, like the gate, like door of time. Those are always open.
Ah, right. Okay. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I try to keep the world as vanilla as possible.
Mm.
But I like to mess around with the key stuff and
Yeah.
the
So
chests
that's
and
what
the
I do.
Skeltala tokens and all.
I keep those checks
Everything is
open.
shuffled except everything is shuffled except the basic world. But
Yeah.
I think the last rando I played was shuffled dungeon entrances and dungeon bosses.
Mm.
And that was just changing that can mess you up a little bit. It's like,
Oh yeah.
where was Jabu Jabu again?
That's when you
And then you're
need
thinking like,
a
huh?
notepad or like a spreadsheet or
Yeah.
something where you could just find
Oh yeah, I
something
didn't
and
do that.
type it.
I don't do that. I do remember though that bottom of the well was ice cavern,
Mm.
and that was crap. Because I'm like, how do I get in? Because I need to do ice cavern as adult, right?
Hmm.
And usually you clip into bottom of the well as a child. So I had to look up how to clip into bottom of the well as adult.
Mm.
And luckily, Stony was there during my stream when I did that, and he's like, "Okay, get into this, target the wall, 2 assist, turns left, dry roll, 2 backflips, blah 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 blah." I'm like, "Okay, good."
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mess with so I have those settings open, but I mainly mess with the keys, the shops, and like the chests and
Yeah.
skulltulas,
Mm-hmm.
scrubs, like stuff like that. I don't.
Oh yeah.
I did a birthday stream in September this year, and I did like max setting and on the PC version, the 60 frames per second rando.
Right. Right.
And
Yeah.
I had the grotto entrance, the boss entrance, it was entrances shuffled. It wasn't decoupled, but all the entrances were shuffled and all that. And it was just I was writing this stuff down and I was still getting confused.
Yeah.
And then because it was also glitchless logic, and I thought the game broke because the one item I needed was in the Lake Hylia grotto. But when I went in there and
Right.
it said the item was on the right scrub, so I bought the right scrub. But when I went back in, all the scrubs are gone. So it's like, and then I gave myself a time limit as well for 8 hours, and
Yeah.
the seed beat me, and I
Mm-hmm.
looked it up. Yeah, I forgot that the grotto entrances were also shuffled. So the grotto in Lake Hylia was a different grotto that had 3 scrubs in it, but the one
Mm-hmm.
grotto I needed was in Hyrule Field near Gerudo Valley under a boulder.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
I
see.
was,
Yeah, that one.
yeah,
Yep.
I was in the totally wrong area and the wrong grotto for the item I needed. So I thought my seed broke. No, it didn't. I was just
Yeah,
dumb.
yeah.
So,
That that kind of reminds me of this was like a good, but this wasn't me being dumb, but this was more like a good like bad luck seed. I was doing like a role play Triforce hunt rando.
mm,
So you don't actually have to beat the game. You just need to find the Triforce pieces for
yeah.
those that are listening that doesn't know what Triforce hunt is. Basically, you can just choose a total number of Triforce shards that are spread across the world, just like in Wind Waker. Like you have to find Triforce shards to be able to complete the Triforce, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the best setting is like 3/4. So if you have 20 total pieces, you only need 16.
Mm,
And if you have 10 total pieces, you should have like 7 required pieces. That's like the feel good
yeah.
value for the seed. Anyway, I did a role play one. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make 3. One for power, one for wisdom, one for courage. So I have
Oh,
3
okay.
total pieces, and I just grab 3. And I swear to God, I the first 2 I found within 10 minutes. Right close to each other as well. One in Goron City and one in it was Death Mountain Trail.
Okay.
And I'm like, what the hell?
And let me
And
guess,
then
14 hours later.
about 4 hours later,
Oh,
five
okay.
hours later, I got the third one. I'm like, okay, Jesus Christ. But yeah, randos are fun. But I kind of grow tired of them quickly if I do them too much
Yeah.
because I like to be more competitive. So I'm sticking to speedrunning only
Yeah.
most of the time.
Um,
I usually don't do stuff for fun, but when I do, it's because it's nice.
yeah. So last thing about the randos is that there's multiple dev branches, and these are like in development still. So there's
Right.
one
Yeah.
out there that is enemy boss souls randomizer.
Uh huh. Yeah.
So enemies and boss souls are in like a Skulltula shape, but they're red. And you need to find the boss soul or enemy souls before you can fight that enemy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I did one and I was like, "Oh, I'm adult. I can go fight KD. I have everything to check everything." I go in there. KD's not there because I don't have the boss soul. So,
Right. Yeah.
it is a lot of fun, but if you go
I
to
remember when I saw the update, but I never tried it myself. But it
I
looked to be fun.
I kind of threw
I think.
myself in the deep end and I put enemy and boss souls on. If you're gonna try it just as like
Oh
your
yeah.
first time,
Damn.
just do boss souls.
Yeah.
Oh my
Because you would
goodness.
have to like if you want to kill if you have, for example, if you have rupees shuffled and hearts shuffled,
Mm-hmm.
and you have enemy souls activated, I guess you would if you want to kill a lot of Tektites, for example, or Octoroks or Gways, the birds.
You need
You
to,
would have to find the souls for them, and
yes,
then you have to find to kill them
yes,
to be able to maybe get an item.
yes,
Yeah, that would
and
take a
and
really long time.
and if the souls are in the location where those enemies spawn, you have to leave and then come back to reload it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, so one of the
Yeah.
checks is like when you do Kakariko, you go through as child, you talk to Andrew, and if you have bombs or anything, or even as adult, you check the Redead Grotto in CAC. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to have the Redead souls because then it's like you can't check that one. Um, so and like even occurs in Ganon's tower. So say you're go mode, you do the tower. Oh, you get to the final door of where it's like the gauntlet of the enemies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the iron knuckle souls. So you have to go find you have to continue the seed to go find an enemy soul, find the enemy
Yeah.
soul, and then go back and then defeat Ganon.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, but it can be crazy with just determining the settings that you have.
Yeah, it's a good setting. I think I might try that the next time I do a rando.
Okay.
That could be
Uh
fun.
all right. So, let's talk a little bit about your category.
Sorry, my what?
Your the speedrun category that you're in Ocarina of Time. So, you
Yeah.
are currently learning 100% no major glitches.
Uh, well, if it was a Majora's Mask, it would be no major glitches, but
Oh,
no SRM.
now SRM. My bad. My bad.
Yeah, no problem.
Uh
Yeah, I'm currently learning Hundo no SRM. Um, yeah, that's been on my mind for a long time actually. If I when I wanted to do it, it's the same thing as what I did with Majora's Mask. I didn't really find the right time. Um, but for this category, I think I prolonged it for so long because I was so happy and I was so busy and I had a lot of fun with the glitchless categories.
mhm.
So that's why I didn't learn it earlier. I've been running some GSR and a very tiny bit of child dungeons and defeat Ganon, but I didn't really like those categories. But the more I thought about it, the more the years go by, and like, oh yeah, Hundo no restaurant. I think I want to try it at least. And now that I'm actually learning it, it feels pretty good. Especially now that I've been on a small break from Ocarina of Time, um, when I was doing Majora's Mask and a little bit of Shovel Knight. I was just, I'm not feeling this. Let's go back to Ocarina of Time and continue expand my knowledge.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you were streaming earlier this day and you said like what 3 maybe 4 days or something is when you might do your or earlier and you might start your first run.
Yeah, it depends. Um, Throughout the years, when I've always heard from when people ask other streamers or like, oh, how long does it take to learn 100%? And most people said, oh, it takes like 3 to 4 weeks. And I said to myself right when I started, it's probably gonna take 3 weeks because I've done basically only glitchless, and
Mm-hmm.
70% of the run in Hundo no SRM is stuff that I don't even know. I haven't even
Yep.
tried. I haven't even seen it, and I definitely like I haven't even heard about it. Maybe I've seen it at some point, but I don't remember. So I thought, everything is gonna be new, so it's just gonna take a long time. But it turns out I'm a really fast learner. I was on day 10 today, and I've already gone through everything. And I was thinking, oh, maybe Friday I'll do my first run. But now that I feel like it a little bit more, maybe I'll start earlier. Not really sure yet. It will be. I think it will be like, okay, I think I feel ready now. Let's go and do a run tomorrow or something.
All right. Well,
So maybe this week. Yeah.
we shall see, and I do wish you good luck on your first run.
Thank you.
But yeah, um, so that's the category you're learning. But what is the category you've been running for like
For
uh
like years
yeah,
or from the beginning.
yeah.
My first category I learned was any percent glitchless.
Okay.
Uh, as I mentioned in the beginning of this podcast, I said I wanted to initially learn Ocarina of Time, but I didn't know if I liked speedrunning or not. That's why I started out with Shovel Knight, and I wanted to get into the game first, like get all my knowledge and stuff. And when I looked at the categories, I'm like, I don't know if I want to do any percent because it does such a small portion of the game that it doesn't even feel like I'm beating the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though it's a speed run, it's an any percent run, but I don't like the any percent run.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for any percent Shovel Knight, I like because in Shovel Knight there isn't a lot of glitches at all. It's like two,
Yeah.
and so you have to play through the game no matter what, like all the levels, all the main levels at least. So you have to play through them no matter what. There's no glitch to skip them.
Yeah.
So it's a more like movement based, more towards a glitchless category. But there are so sick tricks that are so optimized, so it's really hard to keep up. You have to play every single day to be able to keep up the rhythm.
Yeah.
So that's why I decided on 90% glitchless instead when I started out in early 2016. Um, because I wanted to get to know the game, get back into it because I haven't played it in 20 years since I was a kid. And but the same thing happened there as what I did with Shovel Knight. I fell in love with the glitchless category, so I just got stuck in 90% glitchless, and then I continued to learn 100% glitchless, and that was even more fun. Uh,
Yeah.
so I went back and forth between those two categories for some time until I had a big break in speedrunning and from streaming for about 3 years. I was like 2 3 years where I was really inactive, didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came back and I continued with glitchless. Uh, yeah,
Yeah, I like it's just so different seeing, both categories, like glitched, glitchless, like each has their own movement base. Uh, you know,
yeah,
glitchless, you could do a super slide to or a hess to get somewhere faster, but glitchless you're either doing side hops, rolling, or you're back walking. Like
yeah.
it's so different, but it's like so interesting to watch and to. I mean, probably obviously to speedrun it as well. It's probably pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's a different mentality, I guess, because um, from what I pick up, like I like categories that has a good flow. All right,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like categories that has too little stuff or too much of something. Um, for me, when I was running Majora's Mask 100% glitchless, I felt that the first hour for me is a little bit out of flow because there is cycle one that everyone has to do, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, there's still so much cutscenes in the first hour until you get into Snowhead, and I feel like when you get into Snowhead, that's when the run starts for me.
Yeah, and I've heard that from like a lot of speedrunners that play Majora's Mask. Is like the
Yeah,
first hour, hour and a half, give or take, is just straight like little gameplay, lots of cutscenes. Because
yeah,
you
and it
what
can be
the
really hard to stream it even.
yeah, like the
Like it
intro.
doesn't really matter if you are a popular streamer or not. It's definitely easier if you're a popular streamer because you can use all that extra time to just goof around on stream and talk,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But from my perspective, is more like a competitive sense that I just want to get going, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to have a good flow, and
Yeah.
I feel like I had a really good flow with that when I was running Ocarina of Time because even if I was doing glitchless, the cutscenes in the first half hour isn't that much
Yeah. And
compared to other Zelda games.
also like the intro is like 3 minutes long, so it's not even that long,
No,
and
exactly.
like it's not 6 minutes is for Majora's Mask intro. Like that is just,
Yeah,
but like
yeah,
you're 3 minutes into the intro or it's skipped. So even if it's skipped, boom, you're already into the run. And I don't know like
yeah,
how long from when you start when the first cutscene is, but like you're already playing the game, you're already working on it. But like Majora's Mask, you
yeah,
hit start, you're sitting there for 6 minutes, and then you're chasing Skull Kid, collecting a few rupees or anything, boom, into another
yeah,
longish cutscene, and then you
yeah,
go up to the tower or the clock tower, and then you talk to the masked salesman, boom, another cutscene, and
yeah.
it's just yeah.
And then cycle one begins, and then you don't even have to be fast during cycle one if you're just doing the silver rupee and the inn
Yeah.
route. You just don't have to be fast. So
Mm-hmm.
it feels like pointless in one way, which is why I know and I understand why people are like we would like to have cycle one skip,
Yeah.
but it would have if that would be a thing in the future, which I actually hope it doesn't.
Yeah.
Um, it's the same thing with intro skip for Ocarina of Time. I was against it. I voted no,
Mm-hmm.
even though I knew that I was going to use it for benefit, to benefit myself. It was just a principle. Like, no, I would like it personally, but in principle, I want it to be banned. And I remember there was actually a question on the forums, like if it would be, um, if it
Mm-hmm.
would be available, would you like a punishment to be there? I'm like, yeah, and I was thinking about it, like, yeah, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Why did I decide on 2 seconds? Because um,
You thought of it in 2 seconds.
most
No, I'm just,
what?
why 2 seconds? Because you thought of that in 2 seconds. No.
Oh no no. That was actually because I saw most people that wanted Introskip were people who were running shorter categories,
Mm-hmm.
like Defeat Ganon, any percent GSR,
Yeah.
um, and they were incredibly biased against that. They wanted to be allowed,
Yeah.
and that's why I figured, okay, 2 seconds would probably be a good cutoff for like where you have to think like, should I watch intro or should I not? Because if you watch intro, you gain 2 frames. You have a 2 frame advantage uh, if you are mashing the blue text in the intro perfectly.
Yeah.
Um, but it's 2 frames. It's 0.1 seconds. No, it's a four. No, wait, no. Wait, hang on. I forgot. I think it's 4 frames. It's 0.2 seconds. Yeah, it's 0.2 seconds advantage if you are watching the intro,
Yeah, because I
which
remember.
no one gives a shit about in any category except maybe any percent.
Yeah. And I remember
Um,
watching Richard Sage when this was before and during the intro like talk. Like
yeah,
I remember I think it was Defeat Ganon no SRM. I think it was at like 16 minutes, maybe 15 or so. And now because of intro and other like things as well, like um
it was a
it was
triple
an
slash clip
yeah, but
in collapse
now
that
it
pushed you
is
down.
12 minutes and 57 seconds long.
Yeah.
So intro skipped
Oh,
helped, but it is
12:57.
yeah, 57
I thought it
seconds.
was 12:54. Maybe I'm stupid. Hang on.
Um I'm not
Uh,
sure because I have
I.
speedrun.com open up right now because I was looking at
Oh,
it.
okay, okay, I
Yeah.
see.
Um but yeah, it's just like
Yeah, you're right.
it's crazy.
12:57. 12:57 by Loose Suits.
Yeah. And I think
Yep.
for 100%, I think with Glitchymon, I think he still watches the cutscene, right? Or did he now?
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, this was like as I said, like, person to person.
Yeah.
It's what their personality is. Um, some people, the shorter category runners, they would like to have intro skip because it for them it means more playtime. Because as soon as they do a little mistake in the beginning of Deca Tree when they're doing the flame storage thing
Mm-hmm.
glitch, and instantly reset and another cutscene 3 minutes, and then they play for 2 minutes, and then another 3 minute intro, and that's why they wanted an intro skip, right?
Yeah.
But for 100% runners, which is the longest category, for them it doesn't really matter
Yeah.
because they just need to get past one trick in the beginning that is kinda simple, if you want to put it that way. It's simple for them. It's
Yeah.
not simple for a normal person, of course. As soon as they get past that point, they can play for another 15 minutes before they maybe reset, and then they don't really care if they have another 3 minute intro. So that's
Yeah.
like a personality thing. When people are running hundo and shorter categories, that's what they want to be allowed or not. So most of the Hundo runners actually don't, they hate it that the intro skip was made,
Mm-hmm.
and most of them, they still run their, they still speed run as if it was the old timing system,
Yeah.
because the intro skip was allowed, and all of a sudden 2 minutes and 52 seconds got cut off of every single PB on the leaderboard on every single category. But they still time it from the beginning of the intro, not from control over link.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know that Glishamon does it. I'm pretty sure Stony does it well. I'm not sure if Axel does it. Uh, Marco, I do not believe.
Okay.
I'm not really sure.
And speaking of Glitchy and Axel, they recently had a like a 100% race, right? Like
Yeah,
someone hosted that.
yeah. Caleb Hartz. I met him in real life. Really good dude. He's a
Nice.
big streamer as well.
I was watching a little bit of it and it seemed pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was community based donation, like the prize pool.
Nice.
Uh, I believe Axel, the prize pool was at $13,000.
Oh wow.
But I think in the end, I think Axel won the race. By the way, spoiler alert.
No.
uh, uh, the funny thing is that I said Axel won first, and then I said spoiler alert. But he won 10,000 US dollars, and I think Glitchy got 2,500.
Nice.
And I don't actually remember exactly how they distributed
I think it was like,
everything.
I don't know, but I know it was said that 10,000 goes to the winner, and like whatever
Yeah.
donations and bits, all that stuff, subs, all that came in,
Yeah.
went to like the podcast commentators and maybe a little bit extra. I think they had like another link or something to add to like the prize pool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I think that was probably about a little bit of that. And then Caleb also said, if I remember correctly, that he's also putting $250 in or as an extra or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah, the 250 extra dollars for one person that gets first try Dampe.
okay.
But none of them got the heart piece. They had an agreement because Dampe, you can either lose 1 minute or you can lose 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And
Curse you, Dampe.
so they decided to just do 4 digs total,
Mm,
which is the normal how do you say, the normal cycle in that part of the run in Hundo. No SRM. You do 3 digs when you get there, and you do, well, you get there, you do the first dig,
okay.
and then you get the Skeltala from the soil, the golden Skeltala from the soil, make it
Mm-hmm.
spawn, and then you boomerang the heart piece from the wooden box on top.
Yeah.
Kill the Skeltala, grab both heart piece and the Skeltala token, while you wait for Dampy to walk to the next digging spot.
Gotcha.
And then you uh, pay him to dig one time more, and then you just wait another 10 seconds for him to walk to the third patch, and you pay him there on the third patch. And if you still haven't gotten it, you go to the Skeltala token in the very beginning of that area that you killed first,
Mm,
even before you talk to Dampé the first time. Pick up that token, and then you go inside the Sunsong grave, get the HP down there, and then you reset the grave, obviously. And then
yeah.
you continue to talk to Dampé, right?
Mm-hmm.
Until you get the heart piece. But they decided after the Sunsong grave, they just talk to him one more time, and then they continue. It doesn't
Okay.
matter if they got the heart piece or not.
Yeah.
So it would have been a slight advantage if someone would have gotten first or second try.
Okay. Now, did that route change? Because what I remember is that they would come in, they would talk to Dampe. If not, they or they would also pull a grave to get like 20 rupees, and then they would pull another grave um to fall down to reset Dampe, and they would just kind of like hold him in like one section, like at the beginning. Is that from a
Yeah,
different route,
that's what you
or
do automatically when you go inside the graves.
yeah,
It respawns Dampé at the first beginning,
yeah, but no,
like
instead what
when he
I'm
starts.
saying, what I'm talking about is instead of the loop going to like different patches to dig
Yeah.
from, obviously you do have to get other stuff. So that's why I'm like not sure if I'm remembering from a different category or it was this category, and they just the route just changed or something. But
No, this category has always been like that, I believe.
okay,
Do 3 digs, get the skeletal token, and go inside Sun's Song grave.
okay, yeah, I must be
Or the
thinking.
grave where you get the heart piece, and then you go at it, and then then you just continue. You go inside the grave, talk to Dampé, go inside the grave, talk to Dampé, and do that over and over.
Oh,
That has
okay, so
always.
that's probably after. Okay, so it probably
Yeah, that's
is.
after the
It's
third dig.
after. Okay, yeah. So
Yeah,
okay, I understand where I'm at
because you
now.
still have to do stuff in the graveyard
Mm-hmm.
while he is walking, which is why you're doing 2 more digs after the first one.
Gotcha, gotcha.
So that's why.
Okay.
Because you have to go inside the grave anyway to play Sunsong to get the heart piece from the chest.
Yeah.
And that automatically resets. And then you do reset, reset, reset. So
Okay.
most optimal way, obviously, is first try to third try.
Okay.
Um, Anything after that is a big time loss. I
Mm.
believe it's 20 seconds per dig time. Because I used to when I'm running 100% glitchless, we do Dampé in the first half hour of the run.
Yeah, because if you need to reset or not,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
that's the first big like point. Yeah, we still get we just still do half of Decutry, and we do Decutry and watch the Kokiri Emerald cutscene, and then we get out, get Fair Ocarina, go to castle, do one slingshot minigame, and then you go to Zelda and you do guards, and after that you go and do the Cocoa bottle in Kakariko, and then you go to Dampé. Or
Okay.
you get Sunsong first, and then you do Dampé.
Okay.
But there is no walking around with him a little bit. You just go straight to him, talk, reset grave, talk, reset grave, talk, reset
Okay,
grave, talk, and
that might be what I was talking about because I don't
yeah,
remember seeing
that
them
is in the
walking
category that I
around.
was running.
Okay.
That was just back and forth, back and forth.
Okay.
So that is the big first, like, oh, is this run gonna continue or not?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it depends on what you're doing. If you're going for a top 3 time or a world record, you need to have a maximum of 4 Dampé tries before you should reset.
I feel like Dampe knows when you are in the middle of a speed run. And that's not just for Ocarina of Time. That's for Majora's Mask as well. He just knows you're on a good pace and will just not give you
Yeah,
like what you need.
I actually, when I was learning Majora's Mask, Majora's Mask Dampé is not that um, big of a difference. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how it is in Hundo no major glitches, but I'm guessing it might have a bigger benefit
Well,
for that category than it has for glitchless, because for glitchless, if you have if you get bad Dampé, you do which is 1.5 minute loss. It's
mm-hmm.
either you save 1.5 minute or you lose 1.5 minute. There's no in between.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have bad Dampé in MM, you do at the end of that cycle, you do Ikana Castle late. That's the last thing you do. But if
Mm-hmm.
you get good Dampé, and if you want to be optimal, you do Ikana Castle early. Otherwise, when you get to town, when you talk to the postman to get postman's hat, you have to, when you get on top to the bedroom to watch the cutscene between Anju and Cafe to get the couple's mask, you have to stand there and wait until it becomes 1.5 hour left of the cycle of the day.
Yeah.
And if you get good Dampe and you played well after Dampe and you get there, you are too early. So that actually happened to me one time. And I just stood there, waited for 50 seconds. I'm like, holy shit. And that's when I knew, like, okay, so I have to do Ikana Castle early if I get good Dampe.
Yeah.
And that way I could save all those 1.5 minutes instead of just saving 40 seconds.
You said about you just sitting there, and that brought up a memory when I used to speedrun. And I forgot to, in MM, any percent glitchless, there's a lot of manipulation that you do with inverted and normal time. So it's like you have to play it at certain times and so on and so forth. And
Yep.
this is a part where what was it? I had to go. Oh, I had to sell something. I think it's the gold dust. I had to sell the gold dust. So I didn't uninvert time. So I put time to normal, and I'm sitting there for like a good like few minutes, maybe 2 minutes or something, waiting for time to just go and hit 10 for the curiosity shop to open.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, because they open at 10 and then they
Yeah.
close at 5.
Yeah. I was like, ah.
Oh, yeah. Damn, that also, sorry, that I also actually reminds me of something that happened when I was running a few months ago. At the end of that cycle, of cycle 3, no, is it cycle 4? No, it's cycle 3. At the end of cycle 3, the last thing you do is you go into the curiosity shop to buy all night mask. And I saw the clock, and I should make it, as I was Goron rolling from west clock town entrance from Terminal Field down the stairs, and I accidentally bonked. I'm like, okay, I should make it. Like it's really on the second,
Oh no.
and I didn't. I didn't invert time, and I accidentally bonked on the stupid torch. And I bonked away a little bit, and then I ran back, and I swear it was like 4 frames away, and I opened it like, sorry, we are closed. I'm like, idiot.
I knew as soon as you said that you bonked, I knew you were
Yeah.
gonna like, all right, and then I bonked
Yeah,
again and
I
again.
don't even remember how long into the run it is. I know I have the
Oh,
clip. I didn't.
oh
I
my
watched it
gosh,
like not even a long time ago.
that is
But
funny.
that was the first like, oh, what are you doing, man? Just invert instead. Who gives a crap?
All
Just
right.
invert and just get in the door. What are you doing? Like, why are you risking? Like, I know exactly. Like, okay, yeah, I have it right here. 5 hours into the run.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly 5 hours I was in.
That's crazy. All right, so
Insane.
this is the first episode that has been over an hour. So
Yep.
that is crazy.
Good.
I'm not, I'm fine with it. I said that it can go to an hour and 30. But yeah, so do you have any questions for me that you would like to ask as we slowly end?
I know that you have been running Majora's Mask and it's been glitchless. Actually, I think I do have one question.
All right.
Because this is something I just remember I wanted to bring up earlier, but I forgot about it. The reason, the actual, like the, it's not only one reason, but there's several reasons why I'm learning 100% no SRM right now.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the reasons, not the big one, but it's one of the reasons. This is something that motivates me actually, is that there are so many, because I have been specializing in glitchless for such a long time. There are people who obviously don't know about speedrunning, Um, some people might be dabbling in speedrunning, or maybe some of them have not even, they don't have a clue. They're just a viewer.
Mm-hmm.
And they just, this is these are comments that I've received over the years. Like, oh, why are you running glitches? Can't you do glitches? It's like, what do you mean? Yes, of course I can do them. But in their mind, it's like, oh, you are too bad to do glitches. You're just speedrunning casually. I'm like, but this is not how it works. This is not how glitchless speedrunning works. It's not casually. It's just easier to get into, and it's really hard to optimize, just like a glitch category.
No.
And this is actually one of the reasons why I wanted to learn 100 no SRM, because not only because I want to prove random people wrong, like of course I can do glitches, it's, I think it's for everyone. Like, yes, I can do both glitches and I can do glitched categories as well. But what I wanted to ask you, what is your perspective on glitchless categories versus glitched? Obviously, it's a game based.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at Ocarina of Time, it's a huge difference.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at um, some, actually, if you look at Majora's Mask, it's also a huge difference, but it's not as huge, in my opinion. But
So like
what do you
what is
what is
my
your like perspective, or what do you feel like the glitchless versus glitched
well
speed running is?
I'm fine with either or. Like my perspective is I currently don't I have consoles to like hard like the original version consoles. Like I have a GameCube, Wii, all that stuff. So I could just buy the stuff I needed to capture it, hook it up, and stream it. But
Yeah,
currently I don't have a job at the moment, so I can't go buy the stuff I needed. So I'm using emulator.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
my pulse perspective is that emulator, yes, is faster than normal console.
yeah,
So with speedrunning, you can't be a certain percentage to world record.
yeah. Usually it's 10%.
Yeah.
That
So
is a new thing that wasn't a thing before many years ago when I started speedrunning. That is something that came
yeah.
around 2018 or so.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like my whole perspective is like I'm fine with either one. For like randomizers, I do glitches and I break
Yeah.
logic and all that. But like I don't know major glitches like Majora's Mask bomb hovering. I have
Hmm.
or like ESS or whatever. Like I don't know how to do that. I know how to do
Yeah.
Goron, like the Goron bomb boost. I know how to do that. I
Yeah.
ISG. That is like the easiest like glitch to do like off of a sign.
Yeah.
A, a
I can tell you
year
right now, if you haven't done any bomb shoe hovers in Majora's Mask, that is really easy.
never done it.
It's actually very easy. Just get ISG off a bomb. Just pull out a bomb, place it. Don't shield drop it. Place it.
Oh,
Quick draw
interesting.
sword. Quick crouch stab. Get ISG off the bomb, and or you could just get it off the sign, depending on where you do it.
Hmm.
A good practice place is actually Odolva Trial in the Moon.
Okay.
In the beginning of like the Odolva Trial, like as Deku. But
Okay.
you're a human Link, of course. You
Yeah.
just get ISG off a bomb and just do backflips and bomb shoe hovers across the entire room. It's really fun. It's good practice as well.
Yeah.
It's actually very fun. It's very easy. It's much easier than Ocarina of Time.
That's what I've heard as well as like from other people
Yeah,
who
hovers is easier than Ocarina of
run
Time.
different glitched MM categories. Is that bomb hovering, bomb tomb hovering, all that is
Yeah.
very easy. But like
Yeah, it looks sick as well.
yeah.
That's a good plus.
Yeah. But going back to emulators, like I don't know like I don't know if there's going to be a delay because of the settings I have or anything cuz there's
Yeah.
if you're on console, there's no settings you have to do. You plug in the controller's gonna work how the controller works.
Yeah,
In
exactly.
emulator, you have to go through and set up all your settings and
Yeah.
controller
I did.
config
I
and stuff like that.
I
So,
know what you're talking about actually because when I started Ocarina of Time, this is actually why I didn't start with Ocarina of Time. Also because as you said, well, no money, no job.
mm-hmm.
Why would that's why I didn't have money, or I didn't. Well, I did have money, but I didn't want to spend it on getting console,
Yeah,
controller, adapter, capture card,
yeah.
and get a CRT or even more stuff retrofitting for modern monitors, set up everything, and then I realized, oh well, Ocarina of Time speedrunning wasn't fun, and that's the same thing I did. I started Ocarina of Time 100% glitchless on Project 64 with an Xbox 360 controller.
Yeah, like
I didn't know any settings of it. I had no idea, and
that's how I started
yeah,
randomizers. I started randomizers with a wired Xbox controller. I didn't
yeah,
have because I had
cheesed it.
obviously like I had GameCube controllers like growing up playing GameCube. Like I had that. I I had to buy two GameCube adapters because when I
Yeah,
bought the first one didn't work. But then I figured out, so I bought a second one thinking the first one was broken, and then I
yeah,
figured out I didn't turn on a part on the adapter itself. So I have two working GameCube adapters now. but
yeah.
but yeah, so now I use a
If you,
GameCube controller.
I do actually recommend if you are going to speedrun Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time or whatever. Have you done anything else than Majora's Mask right now,
No,
like
not
on
really.
console?
No.
Okay, but if you do decide to get into it properly, I do recommend getting the actual console, like Wii VC.
Yeah.
I think it's theorized, or it's not been proven yet, but Majora's Mask might be faster on Switch.
Yeah, I heard
That's only what I
something
heard, but
about that.
I'm not really sure.
But
Might be
like
the same for Banjo Kazooie, but
but
for Ocarina of Time, no.
With the Switch though, you have to with GameCube controller because I know you can
Yeah, you
there's
have to
a
get an adapter.
well, yes, but there's also the Bluetooth GameCube controller that you can do. Like it's like a pro controller, but just in a GameCube
Yeah,
version. So it connects the same way and all that. But
yeah.
the the layout and button presses are configured to the N64 Bluetooth Nintendo Switch
Right.
controller. So with the GameCube, you had
Yeah.
to hold an extra button in order to, I think it was C right. You had to hold an extra button. I think it was like a
Ah,
bumper for C
yeah.
right. So
No, yeah, okay.
yeah,
I played a little bit of Ocarina of Time on my Switch, and
yeah,
I noticed that too. You can still have the other stick, but this is with the Switch Pro controller.
mm-hmm, yeah,
You still have C right on the right stick,
yeah.
but you could also hold target, I believe, and A.
Mm-hmm.
No, what was it?
I think
L A?
no,
I don't remember. It was something stupid.
I think it was left bumper.
Oh yeah, maybe.
I think it
I
was
don't know.
left bumper and then like yeah, it was something
It's
weird.
still stupid.
Yeah. So but yeah, my preference is probably glitched, but or not glitched,
Yep.
glitchless, but I don't know. Maybe I
Yeah.
might dabble in if you're saying bomb two hovering and bomb hovering is that easy, I mean might as
A
well.
bombshell hovering in MM is easy.
I mean like
I was surprised.
it's not gonna
The
hurt
first time I
anything.
tried it, was actually in Odolva trial, and I did it and crossed the entire gap. It's
Nice.
easy.
Well that so I haven't speedran I think in over a year.
Yeah.
Um so who knows? I might
Yeah,
because
maybe.
I've said in other episodes as well that I might have to come back because it's almost been a year and all that. So who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll come back and I'll redo my
And if you do console, pause buffering is better.
yeah. I've heard that pause buffering is better
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So
Also, if you, but it will take a while until you get used to the console feel because
mm-hmm.
that was something that I went through. The muscle memory of certain movement and
Yeah.
stuff was just off. And then I got an ESS adapter, and then I had to relearn again. And the funny thing is, when I got my ESS adapter, no one told me that the mapping for the ESS adapter should be on EM mapping, because
Mm,
I had no clue. So I put it on RAFnet version 2.0.
mm.
But that is for Ocarina of Time, for Majora's Mask as well. And I played with that for like 3 years until I realized that people are not using RAFnet version 2.0. They're using EM mapping. And all of a sudden, within a week, I got a new world record. I'm like, okay, well, great.
But yeah, I'm currently sitting at 103rd place with a time of 3 hours, 32 minutes, and 56 seconds.
That's
So
still good. 3.5.
yeah, and that is I started off in the English version, so I might
Yeah.
have to start off in English again, just so to remember like the text spots for like what like the text
I don't think
dialogue.
that would be much of a difference, to be honest.
Yeah. Um, or I could just rewatch the
But you
tutorial.
should probably do Japanese instead
Yeah.
anyway, because you have crouch tab on
Yeah.
Japanese.
So and then I was speedrunning English version for a while, so I had to do the whole different thing for the crouch tab. And then I
Yeah.
went into Japanese, and I think this was like my second or third run on the Japanese version. I don't remember, but
Yeah.
I'll try. I'll come back someday. When
Yeah.
but
It's always when the time is right.
exactly. I will
Like
try.
people can't talk to you like, "Oh, can you do this soon?" Blah blah
Yeah.
blah. Or
I
you can't even promise people as well. That's
yeah.
a big thing. You can't say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do this."
Yeah.
This is something I actually recommend to every single streamer, as that every single speedrun that is also a streamer. Uh, if you put up sub goals or follower goals to do certain categories of games, do not do it. I've
Mhm.
made that mistake several times, and it feels like you're forced to
Yeah.
continue playing what you're playing if the sub goal has not been met or the
Mhm.
follower goal. And when it does get met, you feel forced to play that category. Don't do it. It's so shit. Just do what feels right for you in the time that it feels right for you. It's the same thing when some people choose certain categories to speedrun just because they're popular, just
Yeah.
because the category is popular. Don't do it just because it's popular. Do it
Yeah.
also because you actually enjoy the category and you would like to learn it.
Yeah. And that's how I
I
got
actually,
into Majora's Mask. Is that
yeah,
I
yeah,
watched
just
I watched
do
Pope.
first what you
Yeah.
like, and then you can branch out. That's what I do, and that's what I
Yeah.
recommend.
I
Just do
started
your shit, do
yeah.
your thing.
Yeah. I started watching Pope Squidward play Majora's Mask, and I was like growing up I was a huge Zelda nerd. So when I got introduced to Twitch, and I was like, "Oh, let's see what Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time." And that's how I found Pope. I
Yeah,
think he was running Major or Ocarina of Time at the time, then switched over to Majora's Mask, and I was like, "Ooh, this is like my favorite game. I'm gonna watch." And
yeah,
like, and then
yeah,
speedrunning just got introduced, and then I was like, "Hey, I can actually do that too." So,
yeah.
um, and like at the time, I was like, I don't really know that much glitches, so I know a little bit from like randomizers and all that, but so I'll just do like the glitches category. But yeah,
Oh yeah.
so if I do come
Yeah,
back,
a glitchless category for Zelda games is a really good starter.
yeah.
It
So
doesn't matter if you're already know the game or you don't know the game. Glitchless is always a good starter.
mhm.
Um, I remember, I don't know if you know the speedrunner called Mikami Hero.
No.
He is a close friend of mine. I don't have much contact with him nowadays. He still streams from time to time, but he's been running MST
Hmm.
and I believe all dungeons and reverse dungeon order and a little bit of other stuff like child dungeons. Um, he's friendly. He's not a top runner, but he's pretty good at the game. He's pretty good a speedrunner. He's a good dude. he actually took my advice one time when he was already running only glitched categories, and then he
Hmm.
decided that he was going to do anything glitchless just because he wanted to force himself to be better at executing things at the
Yeah.
base game. And he ran glitchless for a bit, and then when he got back to the his normal categories, he was just better.
Hmm.
Uh, so, so this is that's just a small example, but if you're testing out a new game, um, try to look for the category that goes through most stuff and is more towards the glitchless side. Especially if you feel like you know that you want to branch out and do a lot, or like really spend time on it,
Yeah.
because it will help you in the long term. And then when you switch over to the other categories, you only have to learn half of
Yeah.
the second category, for example, or maybe even 30%.
Hmm.
This is really good.
So,
So do it.
I when I do come back, like you said, when the time is right, I will either try to hit. I will shoot for either 90th or 95th place in the glitchless, and if I hit either one of those or in between, then I will practice the bomb two hovering. And
Yeah.
and if I will record every attempt, and if I get it, I will personally send it to you, and
Good.
you could watch it on stream or anything. So,
Yeah.
all right. I think that is a good episode. So we're gonna start winding down. Call it there. Is there anything
Yeah.
else you wanna say to the viewers? Advice to new coming streamers or speedrunners or anything?
Um, I could, I yeah, I have a lot, but short. I think for new speedrunners, I would probably say when you're learning, be conserve yourself. Don't go for the fast strats immediately. Don't copy whatever else everyone else is doing. Because most of the time, when you're doing a really hard strat that you only get like 50% of the time, if you just fail it one time, you might as well just do the slightly slower strat. So build consistency, do slower strats, and be more consistent. And then when you have that down, in RTA wise, in a speed run, not in practice, but in a run where you can confidently pull off and execute certain strats that are slightly slower, and you can do that consistently, then you can start working your way up on things. Because there's always into something new to learn, and it's gonna take a long time. But if you try to go for the hardest stuff immediately, it will even take an even longer time, and it would just be frustrating anyway. So conserve yourself new speedrunners, and don't copy whatever you know what the world record holder is doing. Look at several runners and what they are doing, and take the one that is like most consistent for your skill, and then work yourself way up.
I would 100% agree. So that is going to wrap up episode 8. Smoggy, I appreciate you coming on. This was a lot of fun.
No problem.
This
It was
hour and a
fun.
half flew by.
Yeah, I did.
So if you wanna follow Smoggy, I will have his Twitch link in the description below. So go give him some love and support on his future 100% no SRM Ocarina of Time runs. So all right, well
Thank you.
yeah, we'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Have a good one. Bye.